Alright. Let me just share the link. Screen. And once I do that, dive in. There we go. Alright. Okay. I should good now. My ears, turn this down a little bit. Alright. Oops. Okay. Here we go.
Hey, so did you hear the news? The coronavirus is coming. We're all gonna die.
As we said, the federal government's own leading medical authorities see the threat very differently from this president. This is audio from Dr. Nancy Messonnier, director of the National Center for Immunization.
Before we get into the actual substance of the video, I haven't seen this, but based on what I'm seeing, looks like we got ourselves a conservative, goddamn respectful individual, if you know what I'm saying.
And respiratory diseases.
Let's see.
Ultimately, we expect we will see community spread in this country. It's not so much a question of if this will happen anymore, but rather more a question of exactly when this will happen and how many people in this country will have severe illness.
Do not allow yourself to be manipulated by the media and the Democrat politicians who have a clear interest in hyping this bit of news into mass hysteria. That is my message to you today, because we've seen this all before. Do you remember Ebola? Do you remember H1N1 or the avian flu? Or if you want to go way back, do you remember mad cow disease? If you are an astute watcher of the news media, as I am, you have seen this before. You understand the dynamics behind ramping up this mass hysteria.
This is cringe. Like, everything you listed, like Ebola, was a serious threat. It took many lives, and it's a good thing to stay cautious of and try to prevent getting, but alright.
Area when it comes to the coronavirus. And I'm going to give you this point of view, and you can agree with it or disagree with it, but the facts are pretty convincing, if you ask me. 2 to 3 days ago, the stock market started dropping, and it was reportedly related to coronavirus. Now, in
Understandably,
some ways that makes sense, because China is having an issue with coronavirus. China is a major player in the economy.
The left is irresponsible for not wanting to do blood sacrifices to Dow Jones and NASDAQ. We want blood sacrifices and we want them now. We need to appease Dow Jones Almighty. Indubitably, if the stocks are down, you better fucking get going on those blood sacrifices.
The world economy, with all of the products they manufacture. So obviously, if China is hit hard by this coronavirus, that's going to affect the world's economy.
I mean, not only is that the reason why the U.S. Stock market is going to be down, it's also going to be because you can't work or purchase goods or any of that when everything's closed due to the coronavirus.
Makes sense. Here's what comes into play in addition to that, though. You've got President Trump, who's on this massive...
Which, if that's true, then people aren't going to want to buy as much stocks, because obviously there's not as much profit or any profit if that's the case.
...winning streak since the whole impeachment charade, including this massive reception he just got when he went to India. So you've got President Trump who's going about the people's business, who's winning at every turn. The economy's booming, unemployment's down. He's having these...
Economy isn't booming. Look at the stock market. And also, even if unemployment's down, underemployment is actually, I'm pretty sure, higher than it was under Obama. I think it's 1% higher, which means that, cool, people are getting jobs. It's just low-wage jobs and jobs that don't pay enough or don't have like substantial benefits.
Overseas meetings that are going well. He's getting great reception wherever he goes. And on the flip
great
side of
reception
that,
wherever he goes.
Effing Sanders, who's poised to be the Democratic nominee for president.
Well,
not to mention...
Wait, when did this video come out? February 27th? Hold on, I'm trying to think. Was this before Super Tuesday? Yes, it was. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
You've got these chaotic debates that are tearing down the Democrat Party. You've got these candidates that nobody's excited about. So you put all of these factors together.
There's way more. Okay, well, maybe not way more, but Bernie Sanders is the most.
Going to be the Democrat nominee.
Bernie Sanders, as a Democratic presidential candidate, has the most mobilized base from the Democratic candidates. But honestly, Trump's probably not lacking far behind him in base mobilization. Trump gets his base very excited, so yeah, I mean, but on the Democratic candidate's hand, it's like, well, Bernie's way more mobilized than any other candidate. His base.
You put all these factors together, and this is where a manufactured story comes from.
Manufactured story.
Chucky Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, who started criticizing the president yesterday for not doing enough to handle the coronavirus.
I wonder why. Maybe it's because he fired the Pandemic Emergency Response Team or whatever the hell the name is of that, and also was calling it a hoax not that long ago. That's a yikes for me, dog, but that's just the facts.
And isn't that interesting timing when you consider all these factors that I just mentioned to you?
No.
Where were they on this last week?
Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer literally don't even like Bernie Sanders. I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed that they were having behind the door meetings with I think it was other candidates, maybe not other candidates, but they were having behind the door meetings to try and get other candidates elected. I think originally it was Pete Buttigieg that they were supporting. I'm not sure though. Anyways, someone but not Bernie.
It was in the news last week Where were they on this 2 weeks ago? It was in the news 2 weeks ago, or even back into the middle part of January. Where were Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi on coronavirus then? See, they weren't concerned about it then. They're only concerned about it
2 weeks
now
ago,
because
especially
we've
from
manufactured
February, whatever,
this
27th,
hysteria.
probably
And
wasn't that
who
big of a deal in
joins
the
us
US.
in doing this? Well, CNN will join us on it. MSNBC will join us on it. The New York Times will join us on it. This is a manufactured story, okay? And it's
No, it
intended
isn't.
to manipulate those who are susceptible to such things. You are being manipulated. You're being manipulated by a coordinated effort between the Democrat.
A coordinated effort to raise awareness about the coronavirus when you're in a time where the president is doing very little in order to respond to it. Wow, that's so bad. You got us. Damn.
Leaders and the news media, which is friendly to those.
His voice is grating.
Democrat
You know, I
members.
kind of
We
like
know
his
who
voice.
They are. Just mentioned them. CNN,
Sounds like he's
New York
passionate.
Times, MSNBC. They want to take the piss out of this winning streak that Trump is having. You're seeing the Democrat candidates getting pulled down in every direction. You know, Bernie.
I mean, even if that is true, Republicans are trying to politicize this too. They're trying to make it look like the Democrats wouldn't do anything to get the coronavirus bill passed, even though the Republicans were the ones slipping in things like anti-abortion restrictions in there. Right? So even if the Democrats are doing it, it's not like it's one-sided.
He's taking a hit. Biden's taking a hit. Bloomberg is whatever. He's taking a hit. The Democrat Party is looking like it's in chaos. It's in disaster. So what happens? You come up with this coordinated effort between Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and their favorite
You come up in this coordinated effort of believing in science and start pushing it down people's throat, you goddamn propagandist.
media outlets to whip up this hysteria about coronavirus is going to kill us all. We're all going to die. And that helps to kind of
No
take
one's
some of
even
the
saying
shine
that.
off of Donald Trump. That's all this is. It is manufactured hype, manufactured hysteria. The reality of this situation is that the great majority of us here in the United States are not going to come into contact with this virus. And the ones that do.
Okay, I mean, sure, maybe even if a great majority don't come into contact with it, that doesn't mean that it's still like not a bad thing, or we still shouldn't take precautionary measures in order to keep it that it's very like minimal in its effects. This makes no sense. I don't even know what to say.
Are going to be fine. This is not an automatic death sentence. You don't get coronavirus and automatically die.
It depends. I mean, if you're old, it's pretty scary. If you're like maybe more what's the word? Have like more health conditions. Like maybe you have bad lungs or something along the lines of that. It's a much higher chance of you dying. So I mean, it depends on who you are, and also if you're poor and not able to access healthcare, like it's another thing. Your percentage or likelihood of you dying in that situation is probably pretty high. I mean, I don't know.
You are being manipulated.
Really?
Sure, coronavirus is something to be concerned about, and this is something I don't want you to misunderstand. Coronavirus is something to be concerned about, but what?
Like he's literally saying in one sentence, "You're being manipulated." This is just like bullshit that the Democrats are making up. It's not that severe. It's gonna barely affect anyone in the U.S. And then next sentence, he's like, "Don't get me wrong. It's bad, but
it is not is something to go crazy, bouncing off the walls, thinking we're all gonna die at any time because
no one's thinking that. I don't think anyone's thinking everyone's gonna die
about in the news. I'm from
Well,
the
yeah, that's just how it works. This is the biggest crisis as of now, meaning that it probably brings in the most clicks and most views, meaning it's the most profitable. Obviously, all news organizations are going to switch to that as they are covering that as they are corporations.
South.
And they have that profit incentive.
This kind of thing happens every winter, right? In the South, we don't
Every winter?
get a lot of snow. So when the weather people decide to start hyping, oh, there's a big snowstorm coming, we're going to get all of about 4 inches, which I know people in other parts of the country will laugh at that, 4 inches. But in the South, 4 inches is a big deal in terms of snow. And you know what happens when the weather people start hyping it and hyping it and hyping it? Storm's coming. Storm's coming. It's going to be in a few days. You're going to have 4 inches.
Let me guess. More people take more precautionary measures and stay inside and don't get into accidents or anything that may harm them.
Everybody runs to the store and they buy bread and they buy milk.
Oh.
Because they're just convinced that they're going to
So
spend
smart
weeks
things.
trapped in their houses, and they want to have these staples of bread and milk.
Yeah, I mean 4 inches of
Grocery
snow.
store shelves will be completely out of bread.
I don't know if he's saying 4 inches over a period of time or like 4 inches like per storm, because like 4 inches of snow, that's a lot.
Out of milk.
Might be
Whenever the weather people hype
not
it
wanting to
up,
go outside for a while.
snowstorm is coming in the South. It's what happens. It's this kind of hysteria. They whip people up into a frenzy over something that is nothing. That's exactly what's happening here. And I made this comment on Twitter.
All right, buddy.
Of course, I got attacked by certain people who love the crazy. They're in love with the crazy. And they don't want anybody raining on their parade of saying, hey, you know what? You're acting a little crazy. Calm down. Oh, are you an expert? Who are you to tell somebody to calm down? You know what? If you want to be a moron, if you want to get caught up in the hype, you want to go crazy, bouncing off the walls, you do you, boo-boo. If it somehow fulfills your life to be manipulated and worked up into a frenzy by people who don't have...
I don't even think people are really
vested
getting
interest
like
in
that,
mind,
like
right
worked up personally. Like
play right into their
maybe
hands,
I haven't seen it.
sheep.
I don't know.
I'm telling you.
You sheep, play right into the hands of science, you idiots.
The reality of the situation is this is being blown way out of proportion, and they're doing it for a reason.
All right. Yes, it's being. I mean, sure. Even if it's being blown way out of proportion, the reason isn't because they want to rain on Trump's parade. It's because of their profit incentive. Change it to only notifications for now. They're only I mentioned. How did you find this? How did? Oh God. We young folks are, we're just kind of chilling in our houses. We don't really like care that much. We're like, oh well. Alright. We will watch this Bernie Sanders clip next.
Mr. President, let me be very honest and tell you that there is much in this bill, and we have not yet seen the printout yet, that I am concerned about. I am especially concerned that the administration will be able to expend $500 billion in virtually any way they want, any corporation they want, with virtually no strings attached. The American people, at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, do not want more corporate welfare, and they do not want policies which will allow corporations, in some cases, to receive loans or grants and then do stock buybacks to enrich their stockholders, provide dividends, or maybe raise the compensation benefits of their already wealthy CEOs. What the American people want right now is for us to use our taxpayer dollar in every way that we can to protect the working families of this country, to protect the middle class, to protect the 50% of our people who are living paycheck to paycheck. And as we speak tonight, half of our people in this country, in the richest country in the history of the world, are living paycheck to paycheck.
It's over half. It's 70%
And
or
they wake up
80%. One of those
in the
two
morning and
numbers.
they're saying, you know what, I can barely make it on the paycheck that I got
Maybe even
because I'm making 12, 13, 14 bucks an hour, and now that paycheck has stopped. How am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to put food on the table for my kids? How am I going to make sure that the lights remain on? How am I going to pay my student debt? How am I going to pay my credit card debt? Somebody in the phase provide the largest expansion of unemployment benefits in history.
Back. Alright, the stream's back up. Alright. Hold on. Alright. Okay. By the way, Pump, I don't know if I'm gonna react to this one because this one, it's kind of graphic. Alright, back to Bernie. Quality on the video has dropped significantly. Significantly, but it's fine.
The bill understands that for all kinds of absurd reasons having to do with Republican attacks on workers for many years, fewer than 50% of American workers today are eligible for unemployment benefits. What this bill does is says, rightly so, that in the midst of this terrible economic crisis where some people, nobody knows, where some economists are estimating that by June, the end of next quarter, unemployment could be 20 or 30%. What this bill does say is that whether or not you are eligible for unemployment today, you're going to get unemployment compensation. And that means many of the gig workers, people who drive Uber cars, many of the waitresses and waiters who make starvation minimum wages, many so-called independent contractors, they will be eligible for the extended unemployment benefit. That is exactly the right thing. And
yeah, the Cuba video is graphic.
Does, which is right,
not like super graphic, but like, I mean, there's like videos of people getting shot in it.
Is it says, okay, we are in the midst of a horrific crisis, unprecedented
and also like
in modern American
pictures
history.
of like torture
So
and shit like that.
not only are you going to get your regular unemployment benefits, we're going to add another $600 a week to it. And now I find that some of my Republican colleagues are very distressed. They're very upset that somebody who's making 10, 12 bucks an hour might end up with a paycheck for 4 months more than they received last week. Oh my God, the universe is collapsing. Imagine that. Somebody who's making 12 bucks an hour, now like the rest of us, faces an unprecedented economic crisis with the 600 bucks on top of their regular unemployment check, might be making a few bucks more for 4 months. Oh my word, will the universe survive? How absurd and wrong is that? What kind of value system is that? Meanwhile, These very same folks had no problem a couple of years ago voting for $1 trillion in tax breaks for billionaires and large profitable corporations. Not a problem. But when it comes to low-income workers in the midst of a terrible crisis, maybe some of them earning or having more money than they previously made, oh my word, we got to strip that out. Got to tell those poor people that no matter what, and by the way, when the McConnell bill first came up, unbelievably, and I know many Republicans objected to this, they were saying that, well, we want to give whatever it was, $1,000 or $1,200, but poor people should get less. You see, because poor people are down here, they don't deserve, they don't eat, they don't pay rent, they don't go to the doctor, they're somehow inferior because they're poor, we're going to give them less. Well, that was addressed. Now everybody is going to get the $1,200, but some of my Republican friends still have not given up on the need to punish the poor and working people. You haven't raised the minimum wage in 10 years. Minimum wage should be at least $15 an hour. You haven't done that. You've cut program after program after program, and now, horror of horrors, for 4 months, workers might be earning
I do not think I have watched that video, Pump. If you can relink it, I'll watch it now.
Amendment that is coming up, I don't think it's going to go very far. And if it does go far, I will introduce an amendment to deal with the corporate welfare, the $500 billion in corporate welfare, which is, to me, a very serious problem. But I do not think they're going to get the 60 votes, and that will be the end of it. Mr. President, this bill also includes some $250 billion in one-time checks of $1,200 for adults and $500 for kids. Now, I have a couple of concerns there. Number one, I have believed that in the midst of this unprecedented crisis, that we should make this a monthly benefit, not a one-time benefit. And depending on what happens, and I expect very much that this Congress will be reconvening, because I think this coronavirus 3, the bill we're on right now, is going to be superseded by a coronavirus 4, because my strong guess is this does not go far enough. But the bill does include a $1,200 check for adults, $500 for kids. That will help in the short term. We've got to do a lot better than that. As many of you know, in countries around the world, UK, Denmark, other countries, the approach that they are taking, which makes sense to me, is to basically say to employers, if you keep your workers on the job, even if they're not working right now, we will pay, in the UK case, 80% of their salary. Other countries a bit higher. I think that is the direction we should have gone. This is a little bit more convoluted. But what we do here is give $367 billion in loans to small businesses, and those loans could be forgiven if those small businesses don't lay off workers. And I think for a variety of reasons that is exactly the right thing to do. The goal right now is to stabilize the economy by telling workers that they will have their jobs when they come back, when this thing is over, and that in the meantime, they will have all or most of their income. That is my preferred approach. This bill provides $150 billion to states and cities, and I can tell you that in Vermont, and I'm sure in every other state in this country, states and cities are hurting because we all know there has been a major decline in tax revenue, and that is an important thing to do because, by the way, in the midst of this crisis, a lot of the responsibility is going to fall on local and state government. And one of the concerns of many that I have about this bill is that in the best of times, this bill requires an enormous amount of work by the federal, state, and local governments. How do you get all these unemployment checks out? How do you deal with all of these small businesses who may apply for these loans? This is hard stuff, and it becomes even more difficult when so many workers who work for local and state government are not coming into work because of the coronavirus. And one of the issues that we are going to have to focus on big time is the implementation. If anyone thinks just passing this bill tomorrow everything is going to flow smoothly, you are terribly mistaken. This is a complicated, multifaceted bill, and it is going to take an enormous amount of work to make sure that the money goes where it should go in a cost-effective way. This bill does a lot of other things as well that I think will help the American economy. So to conclude, Mr. President, this is not the bill that I would have written. Frankly, I don't think it's the bill that most Americans would have written. I think most Americans are very, very apprehensive that 1/4 of this bill is going to go to large corporations with very little accountability. And in a political system, let me make the radical suggestion that we have a president of the United States who may end up targeting some of this money to states that he needs to win. So this bill has some good things and has some issues of real concern, but one thing we must not do is to punish low-income workers who might get a few bucks more than they previously earned. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Senator from Nebraska.
I've just listened to the senator from Vermont's speech, and there's obviously a lot we don't agree on in life and policy, politics, and economics. He caricatured the entire purpose of this amendment tonight. The purpose of this amendment tonight is to affirm work. Under his vision, I don't know exactly where he thinks the workers who stock shelves and drive trucks right now would come from, because he made an argument about government subsidies that would be on a permanent basis higher than the wages of all those jobs. So I don't understand how his economic system would ever actually work. But I'd actually like to just praise
him. The amendment failed.
Two things.
I heard like
One,
three.
He said something that the
because of him, like 3 Republican senators did not end up voting for it. I'm kind of confused on like the amendment though. I'm not 100% sure like what the amendment was doing. If you could clarify.
Politicians usually don't say. Usually when people are going to vote for something, they say the bill's salvific and utopian and going to do everything right. And if they're going to vote against something, they say it's the worst thing that's ever been written. And Senator Sanders just said that this bill has a lot in it. It's big, it's clunky, we're in the middle of a national emergency, and there's some good and there's some bad in it, and he's going to vote for it. I also believe this bill is big and clunky and stinky. There's a lot that's broken in it. There's some that's good and urgent and necessary and important, and there's a lot that's bad and poorly thought out and not going to be implemented very effectively. And on that, I'm also inclined to vote for it. So I appreciate his candor in admitting that this is kind of a big crap sandwich. But in addition, I want to praise the senator from Vermont for his candor in saying something that I totally oppose, but I appreciate his integrity and honesty in admitting it. He said, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, sir, please. He said he wishes the $1,200 monthly payment would be made, or the $1,200 emergency payment would be made monthly and permanent. Is that right?
No, not permanent, but during the crisis, yes.
Okay, that's helpful clarification. You were saying a lot of different things, and I thought you were arguing for a UBI of 14 grand. So I just wanted to clarify that point, but I appreciate the fact that you
yeah, I don't think that'd be very feasible.
The senator believes, speaking in the third person, a lot of things very differently than I do, but he argues forcefully for his positions. And I think that this body would benefit from more people who spoke as bluntly and directly as the senator from Vermont. I hope his positions are voted down again and again and again and again, but I appreciate the way he argues for his positions. Thank you, Mr. President.
Was he supposed to be arguing against what Bernie said? Because if so, he didn't. Alright, I'll quickly read this. Not all of it, but some of it. Alright. Bernie Spears called for a general strike and wealth redistribution in response to the coronavirus pandemic. Therefore, we are legally obliged to publish something about it. During this time of isolation, we need connection now more than ever. Call your loved ones, write virtual love letters. Technologies like virtual communication, streaming, and broadcasting are part of our community collaboration. We will learn to kiss and broadcast, and hold each other through the waves of the web. We will feed each other with strength. We will understand our own importance from places. We must stay in union, moves beyond walls. We can still be together. That is what producers posted on Instagram. Alright. Yeah, I don't really like. I wanna like. I don't know. It's I don't know. It's pretty graphic in my opinion. Oh, I think I heard about this. You can tell her to be quiet for a second. This isn't a Trump rally. Something Trump would do. Except for the this isn't the Trump rally part. You got a homes guarantee? Look at the plan. God, look at these streets. Like, fucking hell. Like, no, I'm not talking about the protesters. I'm talking about, like, the people around who are, like, cheering. It's like, holy shit. I hate using the word stupid, but yay, let's cheer at Joe Biden, the old man who's deteriorating, for him saying shut up to people who are protesting and asking for the, like, decency of basic human rights. Yay. We're Democrats. We're liberals. Yay. We don't like loud, yelly, uncivil people. Boo. It's like, shut the fuck up.
What did you say? You said what? You said he's not going to meet with us after he said he would, and you want us to leave? That's what you said? I just shut down the Biden rally because we need a homes guarantee. I got evicted after I was diagnosed with cancer for the second time. His homes plan is not adequate, and we need a homes guarantee. He said that he would meet with us. He committed to a meeting, and then he put us out and had his staff deny us that meeting. Biden lies! That ain't right!
What do you expect? It's Joe Biden. An unemployment provision added to the Senate bill by reminding people up to $75,000 a year with gig economy workers covered. So did this pass? I'm confused. I'm not sure. I don't know how this stuff works. Senator Bernie Sanders announces he will place hold over coronavirus bill to ban new restrictions on Republicans and drop their objections to unemployment insurance expansion. Okay. What were their objections? I'm trying to think. Oh, was it? No, honestly, I can't remember. Any fucking employment? Yeah, I saw that. You said it passes $2 trillion. Yeah. There's now 2 house. Alright. Do I have anything else to react to? I know I want to do this, but I don't want to risk it. Oh, this, okay. What's this? Alright. E. Alright, well, does anyone have anything else for me to react to? Because I am more than happy to. So this is a organization against climate change, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, no, it doesn't surprise me. They suck. Pretty cringe, not gonna lie. They're being pretty cringe. Not as cringe as the Joe Biden supporters, I guarantee, but still kind of cringe, I'm not gonna lie. Well, what they're doing is working. They are disrupting the rally, I imagine. Like, look at this. Look at it. Like, you can't do that. Ugh. Oh my god, they're so annoying. We hate uncivility. We hate the Bunny Bros. The Bunny Bros are far too aggressive. Let me see, can I get the... Where is it? Where was it? I'm trying to see the part where it's the guy pulling them out. Right here! Yeah, oh man, these fucking dude, that's a Bernie bro right there, if I've ever fucking seen one. That is not a Biden supporter. That is a Bernie bro. Look how aggressive they are. I don't even care that he's holding a Biden sign, it looks like. He's just being far too aggressive, and oh my goodness, that is unacceptable. This should honestly cancel Bernie Sanders. This should make him ineligible of winning the presidency. Like, just look at this. It's like, guys, do you know who Joe Biden is? Like, do you know anything about him? Like, what? Why? God, I hate these people. I hate them. Alright, well, what now? Should we just say screw it and do this? I want to, but it's so like borderline. I don't know. Like I don't think I'm gonna risk it. Please help. My tenants organized and are alright, bro, get this. I don't need to see this. Are saying they won't pay rent this month, all of them. What can I do? Question mark. Someone please tell me this is going to be okay. I have no idea what to do. I'm in an apartment building in Houston with 32 units. This is my sole source of income. Tenants have apparently been talking to each other, and this morning they delivered a letter signed by every single unit saying they will not be paying rent for April and will continue refusing to pay rent. This until the coronavirus is over and they can go back to work. WTF am I supposed to do? I can't possibly evict them, all of them at once, especially right now. How am I even going to find new tenants if everyone is out of work? Is this legal? What do I do? Someone please give me advice. I'm seriously freaking out over here. First of all, fuck you. Second of all, I doubt this is your sole source of income. Third of all, even if it is, fuck yourself. I don't give a shit. You should do something else. I don't know why you're fucking scum and put all your eggs in one basket in the first place. But yeah. Yeah, fuck, I wouldn't either. So, okay, sorry, I'll read it out loud. Are they refusing to pay rent, or are they just wanting to defer their payments for a couple months? No, they don't want to pay it back. I asked them this already. They say they aren't getting back pay for the time they've been forced to miss work, so where is that money going to come from? Telling them they are getting back pay from the government, or tell them they are getting back pay from the government. Unemployment is being boosted to cover a greater percentage of regular pay for several months, in addition to the government checks coming in the mail, about $1,200 a person and $500 for kids. How that money is partly to be used for housing expenses in addition to food. Ask them if they intend to reimburse you with those checks, otherwise start an eviction process. Sure, you might not be able to actually get them evicted for several months, but hopefully it convinced some of them to back down. It's a shitty situation, but that's probably the one that'll most likely lead to you getting your rent money. How about this? You could just live off of your checks that you're going to be getting from the government, and these people can just live off their checks that they're going to be getting from the government, because that's going to be their only source of income. Then after that, you can resume getting your fucking money once this pandemic's over, you dumb fuck. Sorry for using the word dumb. People like this make me mad. It's like, from all that money you've made over however long you've owned these units, that profit's probably enough to cover you already, but if not, you get the money from the government and you'll be fine. Just like these people. You're gonna be living like these people for a while. So, you know. Until that money is in their hands, it doesn't exist. Also, if I have to choose between rent and food, which will happen, I will choose food. I say let's not make any sudden drastic moves until we see how this plays out. You know? You got someone with a good answer, and it looks like it has the most upvotes in the thread. That's good. Oh my god. Oh. Fuck this person. So naive, you think organized crowd, not one that the unconsciousness I'm talking about is going to be reasonable, fair, honest, and decent. Yeah, sure, Mr. Landlord. We all decided here to tell you to go F yourself, but now that you brought up this stimulus package situation, we're totally going to give it to you. Sure. Yeah, why would they give them their money that they need to live off of? What are they supposed to do? Just give it to them? Like, then what money do they live off of? How do they get food? All that shit. Like, what the fuck is this person saying? Why would that be reason? Like, that's not reasonable or fair. I don't even know where you get the honesty or decency from, because that's not relevant. But yeah, this is head ass. Sound logic sounds like some smart tenants. Yeah. Speaking as someone who does not own 32 units but is a reasonable person, I can only offer recommendations. Note that I don't know what class of units these are, and the results may vary. Is this legal? Technically, are they allowed to? No. Are you really going to be able to do anything about it? You seem to understand that the answer is also no. At this moment, it seems like all of your tenants are scared. Perhaps some of them legitimately can't pay, and think some of them. Yeah, no, all of them. I almost guarantee if you're living in a fucking apartment, you probably don't have enough to pay for rent during a pandemic, because you probably aren't, you're probably out of job. Even if you are, you paying for rent, it's still fucking tough. Anyway, so first, ensure that they know that you will work in good faith with anyone who legitimately cannot pay. This could include deferrals. Negotiate a lower amount, etc. I'm sure that anyone who legitimately can't pay but is able to come to an arrangement with you will not want to put their agreement at risk in order to band together with someone trying to take advantage of it. No one's trying to take advantage of the situation. Shut the fuck up. Second, make sure that they understand that if no rent is paid, then you will not be able to keep up with maintenance of the building. That's bullshit. Shut the hell up. It's like, first of all, maintenance of the building, like, probably not like that much especially compared to like what you're charging. I guarantee that the rent is like way more inflated than how much the maintenance of the building actually costs. Also, you probably could be able to pay that. This is kind of going a step out of the way, but like asking a little bit much, but at least to these people for sure. You could probably pay that with the profit that you've already earned from their rent over however long you've owned these buildings. But yeah, they say shared service bills will go unpaid, maintenance requests won't be able to be completed. Yeah, I mean, those don't happen like every day at like apartments. Like, not always like maintenance requests like happening every minute of the day, but I don't know how quality these buildings are. Third, make sure that these tenants are all aware that just because the U.S. government has put a halt to evictions, that does. Oh wait, really? The U.S. government has? I did not know that. That does not mean that they are not / will not be responsible for paying rent eventually. Even if you suspend their rent payments for a couple months, they will still owe that money in the future and will not be getting free rent for months unless you explicitly allow it. Make it clear that if they still refuse to pay back their rent when this pandemic situation is over, then you will proceed with evicting them. Fourth, they clearly view you as a stereotypical landlord who is rolling around in cash while they're struggling. I doubt that they would all be banding together to avoid paying the local grocery store for food. This situation would be much easier if they viewed you as a small business owner rather than a landed gentry. It might be worth paying a lawyer to draft up a brief letter explaining the above, making sure that you are following any emergency provisions and regulations. Yeah, fuck. It's on there. You fucked hell, bro. Yeah, here, I'll just read what y'all sent. I just heard from the tenant they designated as the go-between. He says that there are 3 people in the building who work in construction that they don't need to pay me for maintenance because the construction workers who live there will take care of it for free. I feel like I am stuck. And then Twilight Zone, that is actually hilarious. That is great. You should put an eviction notice on each and every one of their doors. They have threatened you. You are beyond the quote "I'll work with you" phase, end quote. Those who can pay will seriously reconsider what their true legal standing is and will likely cave. You will probably get a good portion of your rent. Some will go through with an eviction. Let a judge figure it out. Judges are smart. They will see that the tenants are taking advantage of you. You are a head ass. Tenants are taking advantage of you because they actually are unable to pay rent. So when they refuse to pay rent because they're unable to, that is taking advantage of you. Edit. Sometimes you just have to show strength based on their actions. Sounds like being willing to work with them will show weakness. It was probably 1 or 2 tenants that devised this plan. Most of your tenants will pay you. I hope not. This is a political statement, not a financial one. Their intent is that you are bankrupt. Oh my god. In the process, talk to a lawyer, see if there are legal cases of action you can bring against them other than eviction. Yes, they are going to bankrupt him for not paying rent. You know, he's probably owned these buildings and these units for a while, so he's probably already made a pretty good amount of profit off the rent because maintenance and service bills honestly aren't that much compared to what you charge in rent. See, this is political. Oh, I already read that. Parasites. They have obligation to you to make payment to have use of your shelter. You can bet they will be kicked out immediately. Well, I mean, apparently evictions was put to a halt by the U.S. government, so they can't get kicked out. If this was any other business, it's a shame, really, but good for them getting together to scam you. It's not really scamming. Shelter is a human right, but all right. Wait. It's kind of ironic too. It's kind of like calling the tenants parasites, but it's like the landlord is, because it's like, well, you've commodified a basic human right of shelter, and then when you supply that to people, you leech off of their income when you barely do anything, because all you do is pay people to do maintenance. You're not even the one doing maintenance, and I mean, then you pay like service bills, but they could just do that with their own money. They don't really need the middleman. Anyways, there are, to put it mildly, a lot of terrible answers here because I think many people are misunderstanding two pretty basic facts. A, all of your tenants, literally all of them, banded together. This means that what you're facing is a rent strike, which means that your tenants likely are working with, or at least getting information from a larger local/national organization, the kind of organization that will likely back people using their resources up. Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's smart. While also being knowledgeable enough about local law to already be setting up a backup plan should you try to evict/sue. This is great news for your tenants and terrible news for you. B, because of this, and I cannot stress this enough, you don't have the power here, or rather you have power here, but there's a very good chance using it will cause you vastly more harm than a month of lost rent. I know it's not the answer you're looking for, but agreeing that they're missing a month of rent, it's not a month. I don't think we clarified a month. It's probably much longer than a month. It's probably as long as the pandemic. Pretty sure that's what the post said. And then a month of lost rent. I know it's not the answer you're looking for, but agreeing that they're missing a month of rent is honestly going to be the situation that has the smallest chance of going catastrophically wrong. You do not want to end up on the bad side of a court case or media storm, and getting caught up in one will almost certainly lead to getting caught up in the other. You can contact whoever you pay for the property to let them know you don't have that month's income, and you are likely in a much better place to be able to miss a month than your tenants. True. Let me give you an analogy. You currently find yourself in the middle of a minefield, and a little bit someone will come and clean up the minefield. In this situation, would you randomly run through the minefield on the off chance that you don't set one off? Would you stay where you are for a little bit and take the 100% chance of not getting blown up? You're in that situation. Resist the urge to start running. Alright. Write them a letter and be nice and sympathize with their situation. Tell them you will waive late fees for any tenant that provides proof of the loss of income. You have to do that anyway. Manipulative. And then explain nicely that any deferred rent will have to be paid back after the crisis is over, and that you will work with them to come up with a payment plan. Do that, but if they can at least pay partial rent now, will make it easier for them to get caught up. Remind them that they can pay with the credit card also, assuming you use a service like whatever that is. Mention that you will try to avoid evicting anyone unless it's absolutely necessary, because you know that if an eviction would mean they will be able to get another rental once that's on their record, and so you avoid that if possible. That's also super manipulative. Also, you can't even evict anyone apparently right now because the US government put that on hold, so suck it. That's a nice way of reminding them that you might evict them and how terrible that would be. Fuck you. Then tell them again how sorry you are about their situation, and you hope we can all get through this difficult time. Then get ready to file a bunch of evictions when this is over, because that's some crazy bullshit that's going. Yeah, fuck you. Isn't just basically like a. Oh, it's Sanderhall. Yo, what's up? Just checked my sub feed. Your channel is glitched like mine. Your subs aren't being notified when you. Really? That's annoying. Yeah, I saw Vosh was having the same problem. I just got a notification, I'm pretty sure, earlier about it. Your video. Yeah, the YouTube live streaming is broken, and I'm worried. Is it just live streaming or is it videos too? Some weird shit, dude. Some weird shit. This is like extremely bad for leftists too, because most leftists make their income from live streaming, not from YouTube, but from donations they get during live streams. Yeah, it is scary. Oh man, YouTube. Do you think it might be correlated with their like the fact that they had to get rid of a lot of staff because of the coronavirus? I'm not sure. Yeah, I know it's your job. It's fucking crazy because like that's the main source of income that you have is through live streams, and people knowing about them, because that's where you get most of your donations from. It's weird. I saw Vosh's video on it. After this stream, I'll probably watch yours. I don't even know what people are supposed to do other than try to get people to join your Discord and follow your Twitter, and so you can let them know. But other than that, there's like literally nothing. Yeah. Anyways, hope everything's all right. I'm going to continue to read this. Where? Oh, we already read this. I think we finished this part. Get bogged down now. Oh, man. That is. Oof. Let's see if there's anything else in here. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, wait, the government has not put a stay on evictions. It's only within government subsidized housing within direct owned property. Metro housing, any stay on evictions is a state by state basis. I am aware of no Texas wide requirements. Weird. So I guess there isn't a restriction on evictions during the pandemic, which is kind of fucked up. That's probably something that should be in the coronavirus bill. Wonder if it was. Physically resonate with the part about small business owner. There's plenty of landed gentry making a mess of the rental economy right now, but a lot of us are on the margin. Small business. Yeah, no, you're not. If you're talking about landlords, no, you're not. Also, even if you are, like, I don't care. All you do is leech off of other people. Specifically in the scenario that landlords are in. Alright, let's read this one. Maybe one or two are trying to take advantage of the situation, but most likely those 40% are engaging. 40% engaging. That's why lowball so much in community organizing, fighting in solidarity with their neighbors, so that something must be done to meet the needs of the poor instead of let them slip through the cracks and suffer the consequences alone. People realize that joining together is necessary. My landlord is just a guy, and a lack of rental income will hurt him, and he's a phenomenal landlord. My work isn't disrupted by the coronavirus. For all those reasons, I will pay my rent on time. However, oh, okay, so he's talking about his landlord. However, if I lived in a building owned by a property management company and knew my neighbors were struggling, I would certainly be organizing with them in a similar way. I wouldn't be able to spend the money. It would just be sitting in my bank account waiting until I had to pay it all in one lump sum. Certainly not for rent. I personally know lots of people who are doing that. A lot of people recognize that this is a critical time to come together and organize for equitable treatment. And yes, it sucks for the landlord, and I feel for this person. No, he shouldn't be in this position, but yeah, he shouldn't be in the position of being a landlord. Fuck him. But if every landlord feels this as dramatically as their poorest tenants, and they all advocate strongly for relief and voices are heard, the burden must not rest solely with the poor, as it would if just let our poorest neighbors go this alone with any support or social organizing. Understandable. I like that response. Alright. You guys got anything else for me to react to? We've been going on for an hour. It's pretty good time. Anybody have anything? If not, I think I'm just gonna end the stream here. We streamed for an hour, which is not bad. Alright, well, it doesn't look like it. So that's gonna be it for the stream. Didn't cover that much. I mean, we covered alright stuff. We got Bernie, Britney Spears, Biden rally, this landlord stuff. We covered alright. Didn't have that many viewers, but apparently my subscription stuff and notification stuff's broken. I don't think that would have really changed much in this situation because I'm streaming at 9:24 a.m., 10:24 a.m., 7:24 a.m. in California. All those time zones earlier than I usually do. That's the point. But yeah. But you know, at least I am a small boy, so I don't have to be paying rent or anything like that, and also YouTube isn't my source of income, so got that going for us. However, you know, apparently other leftist YouTubers are facing a problem with live streaming, so or at least with notifications going out with their live streams and all that stuff. So, you know, check out if you have any leftist YouTubers that you like watching. Go join their Discords if you're not, so that you can get notified when they're streaming. You're not active on Discord, go follow their Twitters so that you can get a notification when they're streaming. Because yeah, apparently YouTube is being weird. Anyways, that's it for the stream. Unless anyone has anything to react to, but it doesn't look like so. I will see y'all later.